Alright, so in response to a question in the Tuesday Noob thread about a targeting pod getting stuck in BMS, I'm just going to walk through the targeting pod real quick and come up with some examples of what might cause your targeting pod to get stuck. So, by default, your targeting pod is slewed to whatever your FCR is looking at. And again, by default, your FCR automatically slews to whatever steer point you have selected. So you can see as I change steer points, my FCR cursor snaps around, in addition to my targeting pod moving around because my targeting pod is slewed to my FCR. So to get around this, you can select your targeting pod and make it sensor of interest by hitting DMS down. And once it's sensor of interest, it'll have a white square around it, the MFD will. And then you can hit TMS up to put it in area mode, and now you can slew the targeting pod around independent of the radar. And if you hit TMS down, it'll slave the targeting pod back to your FCR. Alternatively, if you want to scan for targets with your FCR, you're going to make it soy again by hitting DMS down to switch your soy to the left MFD. And you can hit SP here on the MFD, which stands for snowplow. And now you can, after you hit snowplow, you have to hit TMS up to enable the cursor. And now you can move your radar cursor around, and it's just looking anywhere in front of you. It's not tied to a specific steer point. And now it will, if your targeting pod is still slave to your radar, you can now slew the radar cursor around and move the targeting pod in that manner. And if I hit snowplow again, it'll snap back to the steer point. And so I guess just some suggestions of it getting stuck. If you have like steer point 5 selected as your target and you drop the bomb and you fly over it, if you don't do anything in the cockpit, the targeting pod is still going to be stuck looking at steer point 5. So you can either if you've got more target points set up, you can either cycle steer points to the next target, or if you haven't set up any steer points for targets, the best way to do it is to just put your air-to-ground radar in snowplow mode, and then have the targeting pod and the radar look out straight in front of you looking for targets. Okay, so I hope that answered some questions. Again, I'm always here. If you get confused about anything, just ask away, and I'll do my best to answer them or make another video. And again, thanks for your attention.